I wanted to share this with you today because I checked off another first in the Philippines, okay? My very first haircut. And I know it may seem like maybe a mundane topic, but I think if you listen to this, you'll understand why I say this, okay? Wasn't a fancy salon, and you have that option if you choose it, always. Okay, you can go to any one of the big malls and you can find several different salons if you want to go that route. Okay, myself, I chose a tiny neighborhood. I mean, the place was only maybe 7 feet wide by 9 feet deep. Okay, one chair, one barber, with plastic chairs sitting out front on the sidewalk for you to use. Okay, so, and it probably was a 5 minute walk from my front door. Okay, so I just think that if you plan on retiring long term here, then you have to try and fit in and not maybe stand out any more than we already do. Okay, because you'll notice that when you come here, and those of you who are here already know. Um, People seem to get over it the longer they see you, but in the beginning, they're definitely curious, and we look a little different than most of them do. Okay, I needed a haircut, so I just thought, well, why not experience it like a local?
It's 4:30.
These are the experiences that teach you more than any tourist attraction is going to teach you. I promise you that. These are the things that, with the locals, okay, because you got to remember you're supporting their local economy here, and I mean your neighborhood. And the people that you're probably going to encounter on a regular basis. So, very friendly atmosphere, all the way down to little store that an older Filipina was running right next door, probably separated by about a 6 inch wall from the barber shop. But people seem relaxed and welcoming. Okay. So I was eager. Now, listen, this is something that I thought about long before I ever came here. I've always been maybe a little particular about my haircuts. Okay. And I spent a pretty penny to get my hair cut most of the time. Um, I would say I spent probably with tip in the ballpark of about $37. Okay. And that was at one of the chains, actually. So you know how expensive they are if you're back home. I, my, my biggest thing I worried about was the language barrier. Okay. So obviously, I brought my Filipina with me. Okay. So I could bypass that if needed. But I found that when I got there, I looked in and there was a big poster on the wall with countless different hairstyles on. And basically, you can just point to what you're looking for. Okay. And you can modify, you know, most of them understand some English. So even if they don't speak a lot of English, they can kind of get the gist of what you're trying to say. So I, I think the communication was much easier than I expected. Um, what probably surprised me the most was the barber's attention to detail. I mean, he was so thorough with everything. I mean, mustache, eyebrows. I mean, he even actually shaved me until I stopped him. Um, I use an electric shaver, so I really wasn't there for a shave. But I just trying to give an example of the kind of service that you can find in these little places. The value isn't just the price; it's more the experience. Okay, it, it wasn't really, to me, it wasn't just about getting a haircut, okay? It, it was a moment where I felt less like a visitor and more like I lived here, okay? And I mean, that's the kind of things I think we should be looking for here, okay? If you plan on being here long term. And I know there's a lot of guys here at long term, and I commend them that they many have survived decades here. So I, these everyday routines are what this is what makes a new country start feeling like home. I think you need to try to experience some of it. Okay, I mean, if you want the full U.S. experience, you can have that. Okay, I mean, you can have it any way you choose to have it. Okay, you can shop at the S&R store, which is like our Costco, where you can buy of many things that we had in the U.S. You can get here, okay, that way. But remember, there's a lot of extra import fees and different things on that stuff, so it's kind of expensive. And if you're if you're a little money conscious at all, then I go to S&R, okay. But there's only maybe a half a dozen or so items that I find important to me. The rest of it I buy in the local grocery stores, the wet markets, the different areas, the little sorry stores that are sitting around everywhere. I have one right next door to my house. My next door neighbor has one on her front porch. So I, I, I guess my real question for you is, do you think this is something you do? You need to ask yourself those questions. You need to know what kind of experience you're looking for. And if you're already living over here, was a simple everyday experience that made you finally feel at home? What did you start doing that made this place feel like home to you? And I'd appreciate any of those kind of comments, from some of you guys. And if you liked anything about it, please subscribe, like it if anything resonated with you, and it's always appreciated. Um, I think that, I realize this is not the most exciting thing in the world, but they're the ones that really tell you the story of starting over in a new country. Okay, so you need to make those decisions yourself as to what you're looking for, and then just go for it. I appreciate you all. Thank you. Have a good day.